Now available in paperback and e-readers. Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Recently, Tyler Perry celebrated the opening of his Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. And while I'm happy for Tyler Perry opening up his brand new studio, and I'm happy about the prospect of him hiring other black men and black women, I'm quite cautious about Tyler Perry and his brand new studio. And the reason why I'm cautious about Tyler Perry and his brand new studio is because I know that Tyler Perry's content in the past has not been of the highest quality as related to filmmaking, nor has it been high quality as related to story. Moreover, your Tyler Perry has been known for the last decade and a half for degrading the black male image and the black female image. So that's why I'm quite hesitant about getting full support behind Tyler Perry and his brand new studio, because while I know Tyler Perry now has the money to control the media, I am quite concerned about the narrative he's going to present regarding black people and the black image. Because as I've stated before in numerous other videos, it's very important for the right black person to have control over the black male image and the black female image, because this person, when they have their money to control the media and the narrative, they are going to shape the way black people are seen for a generation or even more. Now, that's why it's important for the right black person to be in control over the black media, because if we have the right person in control over that media, we can shape the way black boys, black girls, black men, and black women see themselves. And if that person directs the image towards black empowerment, it can change the way we see our community and make efforts towards working towards rebuilding our community into something truly great. And your Tyler Perry, from what I've seen in the past as related to his content, this is something that concerns me, because your Tyler Perry in the past, all he made on when he was running his Tyler Perry productions were mostly these Medea minstrel shows, which were designed to entertain lots of black folks on the Chitlin circuit, but didn't do much constructively for the black male image or the black female image. And all it did, many of his films, was breathe brand new life into old stereotypes. Moreover, your Tyler Perry's films were not of the highest quality. Many of your Tyler Perry films in the past often featured some of the worst storytelling and featured some of the worst acting. So he didn't make any efforts in many of his films over the last decade to improve the quality of his writing, nor did he make any efforts to improve the quality of his production values, like his cinematography, like the way he frames his shots, the way he edits his movies, and the way he pretty much develops his films. Many of his films just don't have any sort of artistry as related to them, the way Spike Lee's films have artistry to them. And many of his stories, they don't really resonate outside of a small base in the Chitlin circuit, and many of his stories really aren't that cohesive as related to plots or character development. So yes, it's a great thing that Tyler Perry has opened a movie studio. However, I am more concerned about the content that he produces at that movie studio, because if you have a man running a movie studio and he is producing content that breathes brand new life into old stereotypes about black people, then how does that help the black race in the long term. Because this media that these brothers and sisters out here will imbibe, again, this will shape an entire generation. I think about how men like Bill Cosby, Robert Townsend, Spike Lee, and many others had an impact on my generation in the 80s as I was growing up. Because when I watched media like your Cosby Show, Different World, and movies like Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle, and Spike Lee's films and the films of the Hudlin brothers, these films gave me a picture of blackness that showed me that I was a human being, that I had value as a person, and showed me a positive aspect of life that stayed with me throughout my entire life. In fact, if it wasn't for those films, I would not have been inspired to focus on my mission of creating positive stories about the black experience and making efforts to diversify the black experience by showing people those different sides of black life that we did not get to see at, like, the black comic collectors, the black sci-fi fans, the black goth subculture. I wouldn't have been inspired to write and talk about those groups of black people who have been marginalized by the mainstream media and practically ignored by the mainstream media if it was not for the legacy and work of men like your Bill Cosby, like your Robert Townsend, like your Spike Lee, like the Hudlin brothers, and many others who came up in the late 80s and early 90s. If it wasn't for those black men showing me an image of black people that was balanced and humanized, I would not have been motivated at 17 years old to start focusing on writing those kind of stories and producing that kind of work. But when I look at Tyler Perry, he really, I don't think, understands the impact of opening the movie studio outside of just cutting the ribbon, as I see it. He needs to think about the vision for where he wants to take his studio and what type of content he wants to produce, because it's that content, again, that will shape the way a generation thinks. Now, I have my concerns because when I see Tyler Perry talking about how he's going to produce a show called The Oval, and this show is going to be set in Washington, D.C., with a white male president and a black female first lady, this is one of those things that has me concerned about your Tyler Perry studio, because this is the kind of content that is designed to not promote a positive image of black people, where we see a balanced and humanized image of black people. This is the type of content that is designed to fit right in line with white supremacy's social engineering of the swirling agenda, and that swirling agenda is designed to demonize the black man, minimize the black man, and show that the white man is a more attractive option for black women, and that black men and black women are incapable of finding and discovering love with each other. So when I look at Tyler Perry Studios, I need to see a bit more, because I want to see him make a constructive effort towards taking the image of black people in a direction that's more positive. And the reason why I want to see him take that direction in a direction that's more positive is because over the last 10 years, in many of these movies, which are basically minstrel shows, he has degraded the black image. And now that you have this studio and this power, this is an opportunity for you to show how responsible you are going to be over the black image, because now you are a steward over the black media. And as one of the stewards over the black media, it's time for Tyler Perry to show us how he's going to be responsible when he has control over that black image. Because that's something I think about all the time when I go out here and I publish works on the SJS Direct imprint. I understand that I have a responsibility to my readers to make an effort to show them a positive image of blackness and to show them that they can be more than what is presented to them in the mainstream media, which primarily shows us black people in the ghetto, primarily shows us black people in the hood, primarily shows us, even if we show educated professional black people, them being dysfunctional and not showing us a balanced and humanized picture of black people and showing us an intelligent presentation of blackness so that people can see that our black brothers and sisters out here, we can show that we bring things to the table other than a joke or to be out here and show that all we think about is sex, social currency, expensive cars, expensive clothes. It's time for us to start showing in our media a picture of black life, of black people doing things like black people loving each other, black people coming together as families, black people coming together and building businesses, black people coming together and being a community. These are the type of media I wanted to produce out here, and this is what I believe should be the vision of any filmmaker out here as related to owning a film studio. We need to think about the overall long-term picture of the black image, because having that power is a great responsibility. And your Tyler Perry, in one of his interviews, said that he was ignored in Hollywood. And I'm listening to that, and it shows me how he really does not understand Hollywood overall and the big picture of Hollywood as related to the black image. Now, Hollywood liked Tyler Perry back in the day because he made money for them, but now that they know that they have Jordan Peele now making money for them, they no longer needed Tyler Perry, because once Jordan Peele showed that he could make more money than Tyler Perry, that's why Hollywood started to ignore Tyler Perry. Because, yes, Tyler Perry made big money for Hollywood, and he promoted the images of white supremacy that white supremacy wanted to see with these minstrels out here. However, when it comes down to white supremacy, when they make their money off you and you've done your work for them, then they decide to let you go when somebody else comes along, because they don't let two black people come up on the same position. They usually just let one black person come up to be their voice for black people. And what happened with Tyler Perry in Hollywood was Jordan Peele came along, and once Jordan Peele came along and was telling the stories they wanted to hear and was making the money they wanted made, they decided to go with Jordan Peele. And they also went with Jordan Peele because your Jordan Peele was biracial and he had a white mother. So they knew that the culture that they had was going to be reinforced when they went with Jordan Peele. So they knew that if they got Jordan Peele, he's already got a white mother, so he's already got white values like Barack Obama. So they figured they don't need Tyler Perry now that they've got Jordan Peele. So Tyler Perry, he sat there and he's talked about how he was ignored in Hollywood, but Hollywood ignores all of the black performers because they don't have much use for black performers outside of those who buck dance and bojangle and play the roles that white supremacy in Hollywood wants to play, because in the media arm of white supremacy and the propaganda arm of white supremacy, they only need blacks to fit certain narratives, like the token positions that they need to show that they are all about diversity, and people to promote the stories that they want to see told about black people. And Tyler Perry told his stories that white people felt comfortable with, and now that they have Jordan Peele to tell those stories for them, they no longer need Tyler Perry. But Tyler Perry has to understand that, yes, you've opened a brand new studio, but it's not about just opening the studio. It's about understanding your role as a steward in the black community, and it's about understanding that you have power over the black image, and as someone who has power over the black image, you have a responsibility to start producing quality content for brothers and sisters out here so that you can show how you're going to make a serious effort towards shaping the black image for the 21st century in a way that shows us in a more balanced and positive light, and not a light where we're seen as a bunch of minstrels out here in stories about no good black men. Instead of you writing those type of stories about this woman who's been wronged by black men, and these stories about black men being wronged by black women, it's time to start expanding the perspective on storytelling and giving us rich, multidimensional stories about black people, rich, multidimensional stories about the black experience, rich, multidimensional stories about black culture, and giving us pictures of balanced, humanized images of black people. I mean, if I do this on the SJS Direct imprint with next to no money, then I would believe that Tyler Perry, with all the money of a movie studio, could start making those efforts to make that kind of content. And if he made that kind of content, I believe he could get amazing success. Because if Black Panther could make $700 million and become the #1 movie of 2018, then it's possible for a studio like Tyler Perry Studios to go out here and make a black fantasy movie, a black sci-fi movie, even a black animated movie, and be on the level of a Walt Disney. But your Tyler Perry has to have the vision to see the future the way I see the future, and he has to show that he wants to make a serious effort towards improving the quality of his stories, improving the quality of his filmmaking, and improving the perspective of things. And he's got to show me more, that he wants to do more with the black image than a show that promotes swirling like the Oval. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, which feature positive images of black men and black women and promote things like black on black love and diverse stories like black fantasy and science fiction, you can pick up my SJS Direct publications on Amazon.com in paperback and ebook. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.